This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Our top story tonight: after just a year on the job, the superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools is on temporary leave. It comes as students and teachers are preparing to return to the classroom in just a matter of weeks. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Ann Allred. We've learned the decision came during an emergency meeting last night. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon spent the day digging into this abrupt decision, and he's downtown. Brent.
Well, the timing of all of this comes as the district is faced with overcoming big challenges: how to get kids to class, and concerns over how the district is spending its money. Sources say the latter is what caught the attention of the school board, who met last night to discuss a, quote, personnel matter. The very next day, the district confirmed Superintendent Keisha Scarlett is now on temporary leave. She is just 1 year into her 3-year contract at the district. We reached out to the teachers union, who told us it understands that the superintendent is being paid while she's on leave, but the district won't confirm that. Here's what the union is saying tonight.
I think parents should have a high level of confidence in this elected school board that they're going to do the right thing with taxpayer dollars and their responsibility.
So here is what the board has done: promoted the deputy superintendent, Dr. Millicent Borshade, to lead the district for now. Dr. Scarlett brought her in after they both worked together in Washington State. Tonight at 10, we're following this story into the night. You'll hear from parents who are reacting since school is set to begin come August 19th. Live downtown, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Now to a case out of Illinois that's been making national headlines. Tonight, we're hearing from the family of Sonya Massey, days after police released body camera video showing a deputy shooting and killing her inside of her Springfield home earlier this month. The Department of Justice is now investigating. Our Megan Kernan hears from the family just hours after the results of her autopsy were released. Megan.
And it was a difficult day for the family of Sonya Massey, finding out new graphic details about how she was killed inside of her Springfield home. The autopsy confirms that she died from a gunshot wound to the head by the now fired deputy Sean Grayson, who's been charged in her death. Tonight, we sat down with Sonya's family for the first time.
I don't think we'll ever make sense of this.
Sonya Massey's family says it was not uncommon for her to tell people she loved them.
Sonya's last words to the person that killed her was, "I love you."
She made it a point to call me, and keep in touch. And every time she calls, the first thing she says is, "I love you, Uncle."
Sonya's cousin, Shadia Massey, and her uncle, Raymond Massey, says their family has not been contacted by the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office since she was killed. The autopsy results show that Sonya was shot directly under her left eye at a downward trajectory while on the ground.
Her telling him she was sorry and ducking. And
She was just trying to get out the way.
Shadia describes the tragic scene at Sonya's home, having to clean up the blood of her best friend.
Walking into the house, I just felt her. I felt her. I felt like I knew what happened to her immediately. When I get to the kitchen and I see her blood laying on that floor, it broke me down. But my main focus was to not let my niece and nephew see what happened to their mother on that floor.
Sonya's family says they won't stop until she gets the justice she deserves.
I just feel like he should never have been hired as a sheriff, and that is the most that is standing out for me.
he needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
The family's attorney, Ben Crump, and Sonya's son, Malachi, mentioned that Sonya was voluntarily in a mental health facility in St. Louis days before the shooting, but was released after 2 days there. On Sunday, there will be rallies held for Sonya in cities all across the country, including right here in St. Louis. Details have not been released yet.
The Missouri Supreme Court has denied Attorney General Andrew Bailey's attempt to block a hearing on a motion to vacate Marcellus Williams' murder conviction. Williams has been on death row for 24 years for the death of former Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. She was stabbed 43 times in her University City home in 1998. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell filed a motion in January to overturn his conviction because there's no DNA evidence linking him to the crime. That hearing is August 21st. Williams is scheduled to be executed September 24th. Andrew Bailey has until 5 o'clock Monday to explain why he thinks Christopher Dunn should remain in prison. Earlier this week, a judge overturned Dunn's conviction for the 1990 shooting death of Rico Rogers. Rogers was just 15 at the time. 2 witnesses who testified against Dunn later withdrew their claims. The judge ordered Dunn to be released immediately. Bailey filed a motion with the Missouri Supreme Court to block his release, asking for more time to review the case.
2 judges have found that Chris was innocent, that no reasonable jury would convict him, and yet the Attorney General continues to fight to steal every additional day and moment from an innocent person. And again, the question is, for what?
Once the Attorney General issues a response in this case, the Missouri Supreme Court will make a decision on whether Dunn will be released. Tonight, we hear from a man whose father worked closely on a missing persons case from 1989.
And developments unraveled this week in the case involving Gina Dawn Brooks. She was 13 years old when she disappeared near her home in Fredericktown. Our Justina Cornell has been following the case all week. She's live in the newsroom.
Well, Ann and Kelly, Michael Jeter was 9 years old when his dad got back into law enforcement because of the Gina Dawn Brooks case. His dad joined the sheriff's department in order to find her. That's because Jeter claims his parents noticed the same station wagon near their home, which was possibly involved in the disappearance of Gina Dawn Brooks. She was last seen riding her bike at night in Fredericktown. Witnesses say she was seen standing near her church when a station wagon pulled up and the driver spoke to her. She got back on her bike, but Brooks never made it back home. Her bike was found abandoned just a few blocks away. Now, this week, the latest search took investigators to a rural property in Bollinger County, which is about 15 miles out from Fredericktown. No remains were found, but items of possible evidentiary value were collected. Now, over the years, searches even led teams to a quarry, and Jeter said his dad was the lead diver.
And he was always centered around that case. He always wanted to be one of the lead people to try to look for.
Now, 3 men were implicated in her disappearance, but no one was convicted due to lack of evidence. Anyone with information about this case can contact the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-840-9500.
Coming up, police out in full force in Frontenac this morning, the super secret fundraiser.
Plus, a couple of more parishes in the St. Louis Archdiocese lose appeals to stay open. A few still waiting for a decision.
This Paris weather update is sponsored by BJC Healthcare. You deserve extraordinary care.
Well, if you were able to check in on the opening ceremonies earlier, you saw the rain spreading across Paris. It's still out there. 66 degrees in Paris right now. Rain likely again tomorrow, only around 70. But after that, it looks like it dries out and temperatures are expected to climb a bit, heading back towards 90 as we start next week and the Olympics really get into full force. Our forecast in 12 minutes.